Earlier this morning, I talked to Phil Catalane, who was on that JetBlue flight and rode the air train with Steven Slater, and I asked him what he thought when he first heard that overhead announcement.
I heard him make the announcement, and we didn't know what that was about, and I thought that was the most interesting part of the day to that point. It wasn't until I got off the plane and saw that something had happened with the chute, and then I got to the air train, and there he was.
He makes this announcement on the plane, and it's profanity-laced.
Yeah.
Right? What was the reaction of the other passengers on that plane as they're listening to this?
Well, it was about half the plane was still on. We were just waiting to get off, and we were all just surprised we'd heard somebody swear on the
You thought
intercom.
somebody had done it by accident?
No, it was clear it was intentional, but we thought that's just weird that someone would get on the intercom. He's got to be in some trouble now for calling out a passenger that way.
Right.
And I thought that was the end of it. I wasn't sure what happened.
Apparently he grabbed a couple of beers and then he inflated the inflatable emergency slide and made a quick exit from did everybody see that happen?
No, because I didn't. If maybe people who got off before me did. I was about halfway back, still waiting to get off the plane, so I didn't see him pull the slide. I didn't see the beers. I saw him with his bags on the air train, though, so he had the time to do that.
What was his demeanor on the air train? Here's a guy who has just done something way outside the boundaries,
right.
in fact, illegal. Did he seem agitated? Did he seem calm? Because in the photos of him, we see him smiling.
He was smiling. He was happy that he'd done this, at least happy that he was done with his job at JetBlue, and he'd said that he'd worked there for 20-some years, and he'd been a flight attendant for a long time, and was looking forward to whatever was the next phase of his life, his career. He seemed very happy about this.
You're somebody who travels fairly often?
A couple times a year.
Oh, are you surprised that he was able to do what he did on that plane, including the inflatable slide, and then calmly get on the air train and make it away from the airport without being stopped?
I'm surprised because I didn't until I heard him talking about this. I didn't know what happened. I thought a passenger had gotten in trouble for pulling the slide because he was there with his bags. He was there
as if nothing
had happened. He was going to the parking lot.
I know you're aware of the fact that on Twitter and some other social networks, he's being made out as somewhat of a working class or working man's hero.
Yeah.
That, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take this anymore. What's your thought on that?
Well, I think it's funny that he could quit his job that way. I don't think he thought this through, that to do something like that will get you arrested.
Right.
But at first my reaction was, well, maybe we could all quit our jobs. Wouldn't that be funny? But it's not funny. And the other thing is, he's a flight attendant, and you don't want to see somebody lose their cool that way.
Have you seen, though, flight attendants being placed in a situation by the traveling public that perhaps makes you feel differently about how flight attendants should be treated?
Well, I see that on every flight, that somebody says something to a flight attendant or feels that they're getting treated the wrong way and takes it out on the flight attendant. But I've never seen anybody react this strongly. They've always been very polite.
Phil Catalane. Phil, thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you.